Welcome to the Aim Higher podcast. I'm Jason Klossner, and we're at the SHOT Show. We have a very special guest. We have Rick Nahas, who is the co-author of the Standard Catalog of Smith Wesson. He was so gracious enough to come by today and talk to us about it. This is a great book, and if you're a Smith & Wesson fan, it's a must-have. Rick, tell us about what you do and tell us about what you've seen at this show.
Well, what I do is I catalog since 1991, actually. Tried to find everything that Smith & Wesson ever manufactured, regardless of quantity. Specials, guns made for distributors like yourself, like LIPSEY'S, things like that. So every year we update it, starting with the SHOT Show, and add to the database. And about every 5 to 8 years, there is enough new products to warrant a new printing.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when was the first edition printed? What year was that?
March of 1996 is when it was released.
Okay.
Jim and I agreed to do a book in April of 1994 at the NRA annual meeting. And from that point, we've made 5 editions. This is our 5th edition. And as soon as the 5th edition was closed, I got to tell you, I started on the 6th.
It's a never-ending process, huh?
Never-ending, and you got to keep up with it because there are certain specials that are made and released by S&W to distributors you'll never see again in print. So you got to grab the data as it comes along.
Right, and that's part of the problem is that a lot of these exclusive runs for distributors or for dealers, they don't really do any marketing or advertising, and so unless you just happen to see one in the wild or have a member or a collector, Smith & Wesson collector, reach out and say, hey, here's something different that I found, you really would never know it was there. And that's one of the things that we try to do is to document everything and talk about the process, talk about the quantities, when they were made, and all that, because we know we value the collectors on there because they really help keep these guns alive. And that collector interest is really important, especially on some of these really, what I call kind of bigger projects like the Ultimate Carry, the new mountain guns that we're doing, and stuff like that.
I do want to point out that Jim and I didn't do the entire book. We reached out to members of the Smith & Wesson Collectors Association and the public and got people that were experts in their collecting field to create documentation for us. And we included those individuals in the book and gave them credit for it as credit is due.
Yeah, that's great.
So we didn't do it all by ourselves.
I can't imagine you have enough time in the day to do it all by yourself. How, and this might be a crazy question. You may or may not know this answer, but as far as you guys can tell, how many unique models of Smith & Wessons have they ever made?
I never counted them.
Yeah.
I can probably tell you the 686 has more product codes than any other revolver ever made.
Really? That's interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that. I'd have figured it would have been a 642 or something like that.
Your favorite model?
Yeah, right. Maybe it will by the time we get done.
So for the 5th edition, we cut it close enough that we got a photograph of your Ultimate Carry on the cover.
I saw that.
Top left corner.
And Andrew Gore, the product manager at Smith & Wesson, he called me one day and said, hey, we finally get to big time. Rick got us on the cover. I'm like, oh, man. I said, we know we validated what we did. So to have that that validation from guys like you, Rick, and from Jim, I mean, that goes a long way. It really does. You guys do a fantastic job of documenting this stuff. And I'm telling you, there's not a lot of people that do that, and the manufacturers really don't do a good job of doing that, if any job of doing that. So fortunately, we have really dedicated people like you and guys at the Smith & Wesson Collectors Association that really does a lot of work to keep this documentation. So in the future, when somebody inherits a gun or buys something on the used market, they can actually realize that, hey, I got something that's pretty cool and unique. So we appreciate that.
Smith & Wesson is one of the few manufacturers where most of the factory records are still intact.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The hardest hardest one I had difficulty with was actually the air crewman revolver, aluminum gun, and started in 1951 with S&W. It took me 25 years to finally find all the shipping documents. But that doesn't say all the serial numbers. I just know where all the guns went. I just don't know which ones, but I know where they went. So that was a long haul. And
That's a dedicated deal.
And the air crewman is one of my specialties in collecting, along with the Model 53.
Yeah.
So if we're on camera, I'm going to do a little dance around with my jacket.
There you go. Show it off.
Show it off. That's right.
Yeah.
So, did that answer your question?
It does. It does. I can imagine it's a daunting task to try to keep up with all the variations and everything. But hey, if you're out there, if you're interested in Smith & Wessons, and you want to know more about the background and everything, join the Smith & Wesson Collectors Association.
Absolutely.
It's a great group. They do an annual meeting, don't they?
We have an annual meeting. Used to be only in June. I believe it's going to slide into September in 2026. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We do have an annual auction, and we raise anywhere from $15,000 to $150,000.
Oh, wow.
At those annual auctions.
That's fantastic.
That keeps
I know
us going.
Years ago they had one in Baton Rouge, and we went.
Yes.
And it was, I tell you what, I think I spent 5 or 6 hours there that day, and it just, every table you'd walk to, you're like, oh my God, I never even knew that existed. And it was really neat experience, and everybody was so friendly and so eager to share their knowledge of what they had. So it's a great deal. If you get a chance to go to one of their deals, go join the organization. Most importantly, go out and get this book. These things, I've flipped through it here before. It is fantastic. It's got great pictures, a lot of documentation. Rick and Jim put a ton of work into this, and to have it available at your fingertips is definitely worthwhile. So, Rick, where can some people go get these?
You can buy it online.
Okay.
I don't know all the book distributors, but
So these go out in normal kind of bookstores type.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So Lipsey started out with 4 models of the Ultimate Carry. Now there are 4 more introduced in 2025. I just got to
We're going to keep you busy.
put that in there.
Yeah, we got to keep him busy, man. We're going to make sure that 6th edition comes out sooner than later. So
I've already started work on it. Give us 5 years.
Okay. Well, you know, if you need any information from us, reach out at any time. We're happy. We love the collectors. We love to make sure that they have all the information. It doesn't do us any good to keep that a mystery. So reach out anytime. If you guys have any questions, contact Lipsey's. We'll put you in the right direction to get with these associations and to get one of these books. Rick, got anything else you want to say?
Thank you very much, Jason.
Hey, thank you for having us here. We appreciate you coming by. You always come to the booth. You always spend time and share your knowledge. We really appreciate it. So go check it out. Go to LIPSEY'S.com. Go check out the new Ultimate Carries we have, the new mountain guns. We'll be getting them real soon. It's been the hottest thing at the show this year. So check it out. And until next time, aim higher.